Hello, everyone. Katie here from Simply Earth. So excited to be with you today. It's such a beautiful September day, and this is our natural deodorant making workshop where I'm going to talk about natural deodorant and make it with you live. I'll even be giving away our natural deodorant kit during this video. So let me know where you're watching from. And we have, um, I shared a link in the comments to vote for us. So as we um, have people join us, I would love for you to take the time to click that link to vote Simply Earth as Best Health and Wellness subscription box. I see that Kendra and Doris have voted. Thank you so much. And Kendra's mentioning, Doris, that you can find more ways to vote. I've got my Chrome browser, my Safari browser, my phone. Yes, you can do those things to keep voting. And Doris says you're supporting a company you like. Yes, thank you so much. Hi, Rebecca. Welcome, welcome. We've got Michelle in South Carolina. Rebecca is in sunny Kingsport, Tennessee. We've got sunny Wisconsin right here as well. Jackie in Florida, so glad you could join. Southern Idaho. Heather, you voted today. Thank you so much. So fun. And we've got some people connecting, living near each other. I think it'd be so fun to do like meetups where people DIY together. So someday I'd love to do something like that. Hi, Jackie. Oh, hi, Beth. Awesome. Mary. Hello, hello. Welcome. Okay, this is going to be so great. Rebecca, you're waiting for your first box. Awesome. It's so much fun. It's really therapeutic being able to make things with your hands, and not only are you just making something beautiful, you get a final product that you can use. And I really love that. And you'll learn how to customize recipes. Thanks so much for joining us. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get started talking about DIYs. Here, yep, there we go. I gotta click the right thing. So if you want to learn how to confidently use natural ingredients and essential oils to make your own products, maybe you are wanting to live more toxin-free, maybe you're just wanting a fun hobby, or maybe you can share in the comments why you like to make natural DIYs. But if you are interested or wanting to make natural DIYs, you are in the right place. So here are some of our subscribers and earthies who have made some awesome stuff. We've got Emma and Christine featured here. And our goal at Simply Earth is to make it easy and fun to make your own natural DIYs. If you make your own products, take a picture and share it on social media. If you're in our Facebook group, you can share it there and use hashtag I made this and tag us, which is our handle is from Simply Earth. You automatically get entered to possibly win a $100 gift card to Simply Earth and get featured in our social media. So keep that in mind. And experience the natural joy. Don't let your oils gather dust on the shelf. We get a lot of feedback that people get interested in using natural products and making their own, especially with essential oils. And they invest in some and then they just gather dust on the shelf and they don't use them like they thought they would. Our goal is that you actually use them and enjoy them because it's so much fun. You can also save money making your own products, and we also believe that making should be fun and easy. If we haven't met, my name is Katie. I'm a Simply Earth co-founder and certified aromatherapist. I create almost all the recipes you see with Simply Earth and our recipe box, and you also see me in quite a few videos. My natural DIY journey started with stinky feet, and we created a foot spray and saw how amazing natural products were and how well they work, and we created a company out of it. So we originally started selling that spray and then evolved into Simply Earth today, which is a DIY natural product company where we teach you how to make stuff and give you the ingredients and make it easy. Rebecca says she's a maker and love using your hands. Same. I've always in my past I baked a lot and I loved making that way. But then a lot of my family became very health conscious and then didn't want me to bake things all the time. And this was also a good transit, like a different route to take with that creativity and that making with your hands, and can give out final products now that people can use up. Michelle mentions they're in the process of switching everything over to natural and low detox. And Kendra says her problem was not using essential oils and now you use them for everything. That's awesome. I love to hear that. And it is nice to meet you too, Rebecca. All right, so in this workshop, we are going to cover what is natural deodorant, the best ingredients for it. I'm going to make deodorant with you live, and then I'll give you next steps on a natural DIY journey. And plus we'll do our giveaway along with a question and answer. So if any questions pop up as I'm talking, go ahead and share them. And I often pause and read them. And also our great community often helps answer questions as I go too. So what is natural deodorant? Natural deodorant is made with non-toxic and safe ingredients. So I have a list there of common ingredients that people who are trying to live a low tox lifestyle want to avoid. And I want to share with you each of those ingredients and why people want to avoid them. So first off, aluminum. They are used to block sweat glands. If your deodorant says antiperspirant in it, on it, that's because of the aluminum. And people avoid them because of concerns of breast cancer and Alzheimer's disease, but that research is mixed. And how they function is by blocking your sweat glands. So a lot of people will avoid aluminum just because they want their body to do what it naturally does. They want to work with their body to detox, because sweat is a detoxing process, and you can make your own deodorant and work with your body without aluminum to keep your body doing that detox to keep it healthy. A lot of ingredients also use parabens. A lot of deodorants use parabens, which are preservatives to extend shelf life, but they can mimic estrogen in the body, and has been linked to hormone imbalance. Triclosan is an antibacterial agent to reduce odor, and there's some concerns here, and here's why a lot of people will want to avoid it, is it can disrupt thyroid hormones, among other things, and is also actually restricted in some countries. Phthalates, they're used to make a fragrance last longer, and these have been linked to hormone disruption as well. Synthetic fragrance, it's used to mask odors, and a lot of fragrances contain questionable ingredients you don't want to put on your armpits every day. We did recently launch a safer fragrance oil line, which you can use in your deodorants if you'd like. And our safer fragrance oils are phthalate and paraben free. There's propylene glycol, which helps the deodorant glide on smoothly and absorb moisture, but it can be irritating. Talc is used to absorb moisture, but it may contain asbestos contamination, and it's been linked to lung issues. And alcohol kills bacteria, is quick drying, but it can be irritating and upset your skin's natural microbiome. So there's a look at some of the ingredients that we're avoiding by making our own natural deodorant. So what can you expect if you've never used a natural deodorant before? And you guys can share your experiences in the comments as well. If you've switched to a natural deodorant, I know if you're a natural DIYer, 2020 was a huge movement towards natural deodorant. So maybe you took that time to make the swap. I've been using natural deodorant for several years now, and my experience, and also if I've for some reason gone away from natural deodorant and then come back again, each time I've done that, I've had to go through a detox period. And during that time, I'll talk more about this in a little bit, but during the detox period, your body has to get back to its normal detox process. Like sweat is a detox process. Your body is doing work to get rid of contaminants in your body, along with cooling yourself down. And when you're blocking those sweat glands with an antiperspirant deodorant, your body needs to get those out of your pores. You're going to have buildup of that. And so your body is going to need to have a detox period where it's getting rid of all of that. And during that time, you will probably have some body odor until your body balances out. Next up, natural deodorants tend to have a natural slight white cast to them. So what that means is I've got a deodorant here that contains zinc oxide, and if you see it, it has a slight white tint to it, which typically isn't a big deal in the underarms, but it is something to note. And then last but not least, the wonderful thing about natural deodorant is that it works with your body. Your body is going to go through that detox process, balance out, and you are going to stink less in general. So I sometimes forget to wear deodorant, and if I'm going through a phase where I'm using a store-bought deodorant, I'm going to smell very bad. I sweat a lot. But with natural deodorant, it works with your body. Your body's more balanced in general, and I don't have a body odor issue really when I forget to wear it. I've also learned to keep some at work in case I forget to put it on in the morning. I don't know, I'm chasing after kids, and for some reason, the deodorant seems to elude me. During that detox period, that typically takes 1 to 4 weeks, so you can kind of plan for that. You can also reapply your deodorant as needed. So let's say you're going through this detox process and you've I'm worried I might be stinking a little bit. Just go ahead and reapply and refresh it. You can do that as much as needed. And I'll talk more about that in a bit. Okay, so some common mistakes with natural deodorant, and when people make it, is using the wrong essential oils. I do find that it does make a difference what essential oils you use. Our DIY deodorant kit, which I'm about to make with you, I originally had our BO Gone blend and lime in here, which smelled really good. I really liked it, but the lime wasn't strong enough for me. It wasn't deodorizing enough, and so I ended up swapping it out for lemongrass, and I really like it. It's been good. But some of my other favorites are BO Gone, pine, tea tree, and lavender. I like adding a floral oil to my deodorants, but I find that if I just use a floral essential oil or just a citrus oil, it tends not to be strong enough for me. I have to pair it with our BO Gone blend, pine, tea tree, a stronger deodorizing oil. Another common mistake I see, and this isn't really a mistake, it's just something that can happen with natural deodorant, or when you make deodorant in general, and that is it can get stuck to the tube. And what's happening there is that once you pour your deodorant in and it cools down, it can attach to the sides of your deodorant tube, and it will be kind of like an airtight seal against it, and you'll have to break that seal in order for it to come up. So if that happens with your deodorant, you can hold it in your hands if you have warm hands like me, and just let it warm up for a little bit, or stick it in a sunny windowsill. And then I found that if you take your deodorant and squeeze it a little bit lengthwise while you're turning, that can help break that seal. All right, and then wrong consistency. If it's too hard, you can add more liquid oils. If it's too soft, you can add more beeswax or a firming product. We got some feedback from our natural deodorant kit recipe that people didn't like how hard it was. So in this video, I'm actually going to show you an adjusted recipe where we add more liquid oil. We add more almond oil to make the deodorant more soft. Another problem I see is inconsistent pores. So what that can look like is your first deodorant tube ends up really hard and your last deodorant tube is really soft, or maybe you have a random deodorant tube that has a chunk of powder in it. For that, what I recommend doing is as you make your deodorant, make sure to remelt and stir as you pour. If you notice your deodorant is chunky or thick, put it back on the heat and stir it until it's runny and smooth before you pour it. Cool. Okay, so here's the detox tips. I kind of talked about this a little bit already, but allow for 1 to 6 weeks for me. It was on the longer end of the spectrum. My husband, it didn't take long at all. It took him like a couple days. So it'll really depend on you. And then you can also help detox with clay. Clay is really good at drawing things out of pores. So you could we have rose kaolin clay at Simply Earth. You could add that to your next order and mix it with a little bit of water, apply it to your armpits, let it sit there for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then rinse it away, and that can help draw out the aluminum buildup and speed up that detox process. And then remember, you can apply your deodorant as needed. So maybe keep it during that detox process, keep it handy in a purse or bag or in your car, as long as you don't live somewhere too hot, because it could melt in a very hot car. But keep it handy during that time. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and make some natural deodorant with Simply Earth's natural deodorant. And I have a note here to share full screen, because I've done this whole tutorial before and just this little view. And you guys were just kind to me. So let's go full screen, and I'm going to back up my computer a little bit to give you a better view as to what I'm doing. I can't always read comments very well when I back up my computer, so if I'm squinting at the screen, I'm trying to catch up with comments. Okay, here we go. So as we go through this kit, I'll talk about the ingredients in natural deodorant and their benefits, and make it live. So in your DIY kit, you'll get everything you need to make deodorant except cornstarch. That we're hoping you have at your house already. You can use cornstarch or arrowroot powder. A similar starch will also work. So in your DIY kit, you will get 4 ounces of shea butter. This is going to make your deodorant really glidey. It's also really good for your skin, and it dilutes the essential oils because you don't want to put raw essential oil on your skin. It will be irritating. Zinc oxide. Zinc oxide is soothing, and it's a natural deodorizer. Beeswax. The beeswax is going to be used to firm up your natural deodorant. Magnesium hydroxide. This is a new ingredient to Simply Earth, and this is a really good odor neutralizer. If you look around the world of natural DIYs and look at deodorants, a lot of them have baking soda in them because baking soda is such a good natural deodorizer. But over time, what baking soda does is it breaks down your acid mantle on your skin. And so what this looks like is if you're someone with sensitive skin like me, right away you might end up with hives. Or if you don't have sensitive skin, you might be loving your deodorant for 6 months or even longer, and all of a sudden have your armpits covered in hives. And so what magnesium hydroxide does, it is a much more gentler alternative to baking soda while being a powerful deodorizer. You also get almond oil. This is also for glidiness purposes and nourishing to the skin, as well as diluting our essential oils, keeping them safe on the skin. You get 6 deodorant tubes. It's a good idea, or it's the first step on the recipe to make sure that platform is all the way at the bottom. They probably will be, but sometimes while they're being shipped, things can move about. So just double check that they're all the way at the bottom. Here you go. So there's 6 of those. I'm actually going to put them in, nope. Here, I'm going to put them on the side here so that they're ready for me to pour. I like to line them all up. I know I'm off screen here, but I think you'll see them as I move back. This will make it easy to pour. There we go. Okay. And then in this little box, you will have lemongrass essential oil and Be Gone. This is our special blend for deodorants and deodorizing products. It also smells really good. I've gotten feedback that it makes people put it in the diffuser and say it smells like Aveda, that salon. So try it in your diffuser too. We have 2 different scent options with this deodorant. The first option is soft and grounded, and that's more Be Gone forward. And then the other one is fresh and bold, and that's more lemongrass forward. My favorite is the fresh and bold one, but you can test each blend on a cotton ball, which we have a tip on the back to do that. And yeah, okay. And last but not least, you get 6 labels for your deodorant tubes. So let's get making. So the first thing we're going to do, let me lower, no, how should I do this? I'll just stay seated. That works. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do after making sure our deodorant tubes are all the way at the bottom is I'm going to measure out our dry ingredients. I've adjusted that from our original recipe too. And I think that's just going to allow you to blend your ingredients together better and help with that smoother pour that I talked about earlier. So I've already got my cornstarch measured in this bowl here. Here we go. And I do recommend, if you have a scale at home, I recommend doing this by weight. But you can do it by volume measurements. If you if you don't have a scale at home, we do have measurements for cups and tablespoons. If you, with your dry ingredients, make sure you're firmly packing them. That's going to make a big difference. And I also recommend adding an extra half tablespoon of almond oil and beeswax to account for any different, it's hard to pack powdered ingredients the same way. So that will account for any, if you didn't quite pack as much zinc oxide as the 2.5 ounces, then that will help allow for that slight difference so you have enough to fill up your deodorant tubes. Okay, so I've already got my 2.1 ounces of cornstarch in here. You can also use arrowroot powder. I'm putting it through a sieve or a fine mesh strainer. You don't have to do that. It does help with clumps. All right, next up, I'm going to add my magnesium hydroxide. And I'm adding 5.25 ounces. When you measure by weight, you also don't get all your measuring cups dirty, so that's a perk. It is slightly too much, so I'm just going to spoon that out. Okay. And then I'm going to push that through my fine mesh sieve. If you don't have a strainer like this, just whisk it together until you don't see any clumps when you're stirring your dry ingredients together. Gotta shuffle it through. You know, I'm just gonna whisk it for speed. Okay. Next up, I'm going to add my zinc oxide. And for that, we're going to use 7.5 tablespoons or 2.55 ounces. And if you're using tablespoons, remember to pack it. And then just mix it in. So I'm going to set these dry ingredients aside. Stir them together. And then in a separate container, I'm going to add my oils that were melting together. Alright. So in here, I'm adding 4 ounces of shea butter. That's this entire container that comes in your DIY kit. Sometimes people like to make recipes their own and make swaps, which is wonderful. I love people doing that. If you make a swap for like shea butter, keep in mind that shea butter is quite a soft butter. So a common swap people will make is for mango butter, because mango butter is, it feels less oily on the skin. I don't think it's much of a, I don't find it to be that this deodorant feels oily on the skin, but sometimes people want to make that swap. That mango butter is harder than shea butter, so your deodorant will end up harder if you make that swap. There we go. So we've got our shea butter. I have a pot full of water here. I'm gonna turn this on so it starts getting warm so that our ingredients melt a little bit faster. The fan does turn on, but I think you'll be able to hear me okay. All right, next up, you're going to add 3.15 ounces of beeswax. You'll have some extra zinc oxide and magnesium hydroxide in your recipes that you can use to make some fun body care products or like skin soothing creams. Beeswax, 3.15 ounces. And then for almond oil, our original recipe had 2.1 ounces. I'm going to increase it to 2.7 ounces. And we're getting a new recipe card to go in our box that will have that. 2.7 ounces. Oops, forgot to remove the... And that is based off of feedback from you guys. I've been using this original recipe for a while, but when we got this kit out to you guys, there was comments of it being too hard. So this is going to make it glidier and less hard. It also, I mentioned that the deodorant's probably going to get caught on the sides of the tube. It's easier to break that seal with the deodorant being a little bit softer. 2.7 ounces. All right, so now I'm going to take this over to my double boiler to melt. I'll just leave that in there. All right, so we're gonna let that melt. And as that melts, I'll bring you back to me so I can read your comments and questions and I will answer those. So this will take a few minutes to get that to melt. But hopefully not too long because I have that water all warmed up already. Okay, Heather, you're asking an extra almond oil and beeswax, a half tablespoon. The sound is echoing. Is it still echoing? Let me see. Okay. Once in a while I get connected to my headphones and then sound can happen, but I don't see that. Alright, so I'm going to give this a stir. If you want, you can melt this in the microwave using 30-second intervals or so and stir it in between each interval. Or you can use a double boiler like I'm doing, which gives you more control over the process. Microwaves don't heat things evenly, and they don't like to melt waxes. If you try to melt a wax, you might notice that your container you're melting it in gets really hot and not the wax. But it does do it. But a double boiler gives you more control, with your microwave. As you pour, you're probably going to have to bop it back into the microwave to reheat it, and you only want to do that for a few seconds at a time. With my double boiler, I've got this warm water sitting here that I will set it in to make it more pourable when I get to that step. Rex asking, is it usually just enough supplies to fill the container? This recipe, you'll fill these 6 deodorants. With this adjustment with the almond oil, you actually end up with a little bit extra. For their fast recipes, it was like you just have enough to fill this out. But if you have a small jar at home, you'll be able to add some excess into there. Any other questions as we go? This month we're focusing on handmade essentials, so personal care products that you can use every day in your home. So in this video, I'm going through our DIY kit, which is a one-time purchase where you can make a single product. So we also have a subscription box where I know Rebecca is a new subscriber too. And this is a subscription where you get 4 oils plus different ingredients and 6 recipes sent to your home, and you go on a little DIY adventure. So for September, we're making I've got October stuff going on in my mind, so I want to make sure I say the right recipes and don't give away next month yet. But you make some cleaning wipes, a roll-on, a diffuser blend. What else is in our September box? I don't want to get it mixed up with October. Heather's mentioning you're saving your old deodorant bottle for this. Perfect. This recipe makes 6, but you can totally scale it down to make however many you want, or scale it up. Oh, yeah, body washes in there. Thanks, guys. A DIY body wash. Kendra is saying she loves the cleaning wipes and she loves everything. That's awesome. So you make a body wash with a resilience blend, right? And that smells really good. I just made a perfume with resilience. I want to show it to you because it's like such a pretty color. I'm going to grab it quick. Look at how beautiful. So this is just perfumer's alcohol with our resilience blend. And so it smells really good. And now I have my own custom resilience perfume, and it's so pretty. Ah, I just love that. We've got the Rooted Clarity blend and the Tummy Soothe roll-on, and there's a balm that Heather says is awesome. That's awesome. So that's part of our October box. And I'm just going back to my oil mixture and stirring it. It is getting closer to being all the way melted. Gunter says the Tummy Soothe roll-on works. That's awesome. I'm glad that you're loving it. Heather loves the perfume idea. Yeah, isn't it fun? Isn't it pretty? So if you're a subscriber, you have Resilience Blend. If you got some Perfumer's alcohol, or you can add it to your next box, subscribers get 10% off and free shipping to things they add to their box. This is Perfumer's alcohol, and then our 50 milliliter perfume bottle. We also have a little 10 milliliter bottle of perfume. I was playing with that too yesterday, but I don't think I have it by me. So you can make your own little mini perfume or a larger one like this if you wanted. And it smells good. Alright, we're almost there. Of the ingredients I put in here, shea butter, beeswax, almond oil is already a liquid. The beeswax takes the longest to melt, so that's what I'm waiting for right now. So give it a stir. If you're doing this in the microwave, make sure you're stirring it in between intervals, and if it feels really hot, stir it longer because you might be able to melt the beeswax with just the heat of the liquid that's in there because it doesn't heat itself evenly. The temperature won't be even across the whole product, so try to stir it for a little bit to get that beeswax to melt. That can help prevent you from overheating it. Here we go. All right, we are melted. I'm going to turn off my double boiler, but I do have this warm water that I'm going to come back to help make my deodorant really smooth and creamy. So let me set you back here again. And I'm going to tilt that down just a little bit more. I'm done with my scale. I can get that out of the way. And I'm going to take my melted deodorant and combine it with my dry ingredients. Now I'm going to pour it into this one so that I can place it back onto the heat easily. It'll look like not all of this is going to fit into here because this has quite a big volume right now, but once it's combined into the liquid, it's not so big. So I'm just pouring it in, combining it, and this, when I add this, it's going to take quite a bit of the heat out of the mixture. It's using a lot of energy. Mixing this in is taking a lot of the heat energy out of the oil, and so if you find that this is solidifying on you, it might happen quite quickly depending on how hot your oil base is. Just pop it back in the heat or back in the microwave briefly. Here we go. Just scrape the rest of that in. And then we will stir. And I will need to reheat it probably. Maybe not. We'll find out. Yeah. So you can see can you see it? It's starting to get solidify. It's chunky. I'm going to keep stirring it, seeing if it can become smooth. If it's hot enough to do so. If it's not, I'm going to put it back on the heat to get it to that really smooth consistency that I'm looking for. Actually, this is getting smoothed out quite beautifully, actually. So, might not have to do that. Get this out of the way. Here you go. And you should end up with a smooth mixture. Mine's a little bit chunky, so I'm going to keep stirring it. Put it back on the heat briefly to make it nice and smooth. Help get all that powder mixed into here smoothly. Keep those oil molecules open to help make this super nice and smooth. Cool. Alright, so that is looking good. It's almost like pancake mix. Okay, but don't eat it. So now I'm going to add my essential oils. I am going to go with the bold, more lemongrass forward version. So that's 135 drops lemongrass and 45 drops the Eau Be Gone. If you don't want to count out all those drops, you can measure that by teaspoons. I'm blanking on it though. I think 100 drops is a half teaspoon, but I'm not sure if I'm getting that right. So it takes a little bit, but it is very satisfying. Oh no, I can figure it out. 100 drops is 1 teaspoon because there's 3 teaspoons in here, and it's 15 milliliters. Alright, so if you didn't want to count out all those drops, we've got a handy little tool that I usually keep right by me, where that easily takes the lid on and off of these, and then you can measure that a teaspoon plus 35 drops. And then we're going to add our Eau Be Gone, and that is 45 drops, so just less than half a teaspoon. So we've got this beautiful smooth mixture. If you find yours is solidifying, put it back on the heat briefly, not too long. You don't want it to get too hot. When it gets too hot, the essential oils will evaporate. It's another good reason to do it in a double boiler like this, because it gives you more control over the temperature so it doesn't get so hot. And let's go ahead and do our pour. Bum, 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 bum. I like to have them all lined up like this so I can go boop, 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 boop. And I recommend going just below the tops of the deodorants. And then you can top them off if you have a little bit of extra. But having it a little below the surface like that is going to help with the tube sticking. It gives you a little more, it makes it a little easier to twist it up if it does get stuck. Alright, and this is looking good. If yours, mine is still really thin, quite thin. If yours has thickened up, put it back on there. I should have paused and stirred between, like maybe my first 3 and my second 3. I am getting thick on the bottom, so I am going to put it back on here. for just a couple seconds to get it back up. And fill my last one. There we go. And I do have some more in there that I'm going to melt. And this one is a little bit lower, and this one is a little bit lower. So I'm going to fill those up. If you feel like it's not filling up, make sure to like scrape down the sides and get that pourable, because you'll be surprised how little bit of a difference that can make between filling your tube to where you want it, and so on. There we go. And then I've got some extra that I can squeeze off into a little jar. And I do recommend doing this because it helps with the cleanup process. So I'm going to grab a little jar and scrape off everything I can that's still in here, because it makes it a lot easier to clean this out. And then you also have some extra deodorant if you want it. If you wanted to, like, I've heard some people asking for a more cream-based deodorant. A fun thing to do, if you are interested in that, a fun thing to do with your little extra would be to melt this, add a little bit more almond oil, because you do have a little bit left, and try that more creamy consistency. So to help with cleanup, I am going to get out as much as I can right now while it's still warm and spreadable. Otherwise, I've been cleaning a lot of deodorant because deodorant tests out lately. Can you tell? So to make it as easy as on myself as possible. And then, because this is going to solidify and become like a deodorant consistency, that's it's oil based. So when you run water over it, it's going to repel that water. The easiest way I found to clean these is to get out as much as you can while it is still soft, and then use dish soap plus really hot water to get out the remains. So here I've got some along the sides. I grab a paper towel or something similar and wipe out as much as I can of that too to make it easier. And if you aren't able to get to that step before it gets hard, just heat it back up and then you'll be able to get it. So 6 beautiful deodorant tubes. We're gonna allow it to cool for at least 4 hours, and you might find that after that 4 hours they're still a little soft, and after 24 hours they'll be more firm. So we'll let them sit, and then we'll label them, and then we'll have some super nice deodorant that will end up. Oops, I want to find the right one. But looking like this. So you get this smooth, beautiful deodorant. If it sticks to the sides, let me see if I can find. I've been making a lot of deodorant, so I probably have some that I haven't turned up yet. So I want to show you an example of it sticking to the sides, if I can. My box of deodorant tests. Let's see. Alright, I don't think I've turned this one up yet. So, oh, that one slid right up. Good job, deodorant. Let me find one that's stuck. This one's coming up too. This one is also slowly but surely coming up. So when it gets stuck, what will happen is you'll turn it and then it'll feel like a little pop. And what that means is the deodorant is sticking to the sides and this inner tube is stuck. So warm it up with your hands or put it in a sunny window for a couple minutes. And then once you've done that, squeeze it along the top. And once you've broken that seal, it'll be fine to move it up and down afterwards. Oh, this one is stuck. Okay. And it might take a little bit of fiddling around with, but you'll get it. So I'm going to warm it up again. I didn't do it very long the first time. I'll also sometimes kind of pull the side away that I see that it's stuck on. And now I'm firmly holding it in my hand. And little by little, it's coming up. And then once you've broken that seal, it'll come up and down much more easily. The seal is more likely to occur if you pour this while it's really hot. And also I find that it just happens sometimes. Like the basement I'm in is quite cold. And I think pouring it into a cold tube, a warm substance in a cold tube does that too. You do that and then it'll come up over time. Or not over time. It'll, just warm it up and then move it up and it'll come. Catcher is saying, you can take the little jar and the go. Yes, that's perfect. It's a nice little size, isn't it? To go with my shampoo bar and conditioner bar. Be kind of nice because I like to pack very lightly for things. Like I have this like travel backpack that I always pack in. We were just camping for several days and I like to just fit all my stuff in there. And the deodorant tube, it takes up quite a bit of space, so I love that idea. Sliding my stuff over. Okay. So allow your deodorants to cool for at least 4 hours before using, and you might find that after that was 4 hours, it's still a little soft, but it'll be good. After the 24 hours, you'll notice that it's firmed up. William's asking about if you didn't want to make all 6, do you have an individual recipe? We don't have an individual recipe. Oh, for this exact kit, we do have individual recipes on our blog. So if you were to go to blog.simplyearth.com, or actually, even better, go to simplyearth.com, forget the blog thing, and just search deodorant, and some of our deodorant recipes will pop up in that search, and then you can look at some of our individual recipes. Ooh, Kendra is saying boil soapy water in it and it'll come right out. I love that tip. I spent quite a bit of time cleaning it. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to do that, Kendra. I didn't try boiling soapy water in it. We are doing this for future DIY kits that make several, giving it an option to make one. So I'm liking this feedback that we're going in the right direction. And for our next iteration, we could add that. Rebecca says, a mini whisk, I finally have something I can use it on. Cool. I see some questions about the microwave. Yes, it does work. And Kendra, I saw that you mentioned it buzzes at you. Yeah, microwaves don't like to melt wax. So it might work fine in your microwave. We have one at Simply Earth that we use quite often when we're filming, especially, and we're trying to melt things quickly. But yeah, the double boiler, it feels like a more relaxed approach, and it gives you more control. So I do favor that when I have the time. But if I'm in a rush, I will use the microwave, and that works fine too. But maybe you'll have an experience like Kentra where it doesn't want to melt the waxes. Heather is asking, is there an upcoming box with deodorant? There is not. Probably not until next September, actually. But we do have quite a few recipes on our website for individual deodorants. And they're pretty minimal with ingredients, especially if you're a subscriber and have our big bonus box when you already have beeswax and coconut oil. All you'll really add is zinc, and our older recipes don't have magnesium hydroxide, they have clay. And you could swap some of the zinc or some of the cornstarch in those recipes for magnesium hydroxide if you wanted to incorporate it into it. Oh, that's a good tip too, Kendra. Rebecca's saying like lavender deodorant that smell really good. You might need to test adding lavender with other ingredients. Like for me, lavender by itself tends not to be strong enough. But I like to add it with like cedarwood, and that usually, or our lavender smells really good with our BO Gone blend too. So you could make it more lavender forward, but then add a blend or an oil with some base notes, which are basically woody oils or resinous oils to help make that scent stronger. I mentioned earlier that you can use our safer fragrance oils in a deodorant if you wanted. The benefit, but I would choose essential oils because essential oils are natural deodorizers. Some, not all of them, some of them. Whereas the safer fragrance oils, they'll smell really good, but they'll act more like a mask, like more like store-bought deodorants. So I would choose essential oils in this case. But if you just loved the smell of a safer fragrance oil, you could swap the safer fragrance oil for the essential oils in this recipe. All right, so let me pull back up my slideshow and get to the correct slide. Taking you back through the journey. Here we go. Alright, so if you are interested, I have linked below our DIY kit, and I'm also about to give one away. So if you're watching this video and are interested in winning our DIY kit, comment deodorant, and you can keep commenting it. In about 30 seconds or so, I will scroll through the comments and pick one lucky winner to get our deodorant kit. And as a reminder, we also have our subscription box where you can make several different products, and there's a new theme every month. So if you're really wanting to dive into DIYs, I really recommend our recipe box for a fun DIY adventure. If you love to just create and just want to try making one thing, this deodorant kit is a great place to start. It's a beginner level recipe. There's no special skills involved. You just mix, melt, and pour. Great, I see some people commenting. It's really fun for me to see all these comments pop up. All right, and then, so I will... Oh, before I pick a winner, next week, Thursday, I will be live here on YouTube with a live reveal of our October recipe box. So I'll go through each of the products that you make and give you tips and tricks. I won't make anything live, but I'll talk about the box and what you get, and it's always a fun time. So I hope you can join me there. And in 10 seconds, I am going to scroll through these comments. I'll go up and down, etc., and then I will pick a lucky winner. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the natural deodorant winner is Michelle Pelzeski. I don't think I'm saying it right, but I think you know who you are. Michelle Pelzeski. You are the winner. Thanks so much for joining us live. If you can email us right now and to help@simplyearth.com and let our team know that you are the winner, they will be looking for an email from you saying that. And I'm going to write your name down. And we'll get that kit to you. Pelzeski. Got it. So congratulations. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. I hope you can join me next week here on YouTube with a live reveal of our October box. It is Home Remedies theme. So perfect. And I can't believe it's already almost October. How fast did that go? But it's Home Remedies themed, which is perfect as we start changing seasons into the cooler months. And it sadly gets darker much earlier here where we live in Wisconsin. But we'll have our home remedies for us to get us through. Oh, Michelle, that's awesome. You plan to make one for your son who has eczema and struggles with deodorant. I think this is going to be a great fit for him. It's got nourishing ingredients. It's got gentle ingredients. I'm excited. Let us know how it goes. And Christmas is coming. Yes, thank you, Kendra. That's another thing to look forward to. Plus, all the natural DIYs you can make for Christmas. We've got some really fun ones headed your way. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I will